Get the recording going. Hi, everybody. It's Sam Bennett from therealsambennett.com. And as you can see, I'm once again not at home. I am on the road at a conference in California. And we'll talk more about that in a minute, but let's start with our breathing, right? I don't know about you all, but I need a breath, right? So I always think it's funny when I do corporate gigs sometimes or speaking gigs with people who don't know me. I do the same thing. I'm like, okay, everybody, let's, start with our breathing. And I tell them what we're going to do. And I'm like, and if you want to ignore it, that's fine. And there's always some people who are like, I'm like, it's breathing. You're going to be doing it anyway. You might as well do it with a little bit of intentionality. But I always think it's funny when people don't want to play along. I'm like, really? I'm not saying pray with me. I'm just saying breathe. You can pray too. Anyway, people, so amusing. Okay, you ready? Let your belly go really soft. Let your heart go really soft. Soften that judgment, soften that criticism, soften that defensiveness. Anywhere where you're feeling hard and prickly, see if you can just gentle it down, even just 10%. Yeah? Okay. Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, how lovely. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that with me. Great to see you all. Hi, Clark, Reverend Joanne, Julie, Sue, always pleasure. Great that you're all here. Those of you who are here with me on Zoom, those of you who are watching on Facebook, those of you who are maybe watching the recordings later, you are all welcome into this little bit of time and space. I called today's call or session, what's your fail style, right? Not what's your fall style, what's your fail style? And this question came to me, I was traveling from Connecticut to California yesterday, which meant that I flew from Hartford to Chicago, Chicago to Dallas, Dallas in theory to Santa Barbara, but we were about probably 10 minutes from landing in Santa Barbara when the airport got socked in by fog and we got diverted to Ontario, where then we sat on the runway for a while and they tried to figure out if they could get us to Santa Barbara, but the fog wasn't really clearing and this, that, the other thing. And finally they said, okay, we're letting everybody out of the plane and we'll get you hotel rooms and we'll fly into Santa Barbara tomorrow. And what ended up happening is actually the gentleman that I was sitting next to and I took an Uber because we both needed to get here last night so that we could work this morning. But what I noticed was, hold on, stop. What I noticed was that as soon as, this little, as soon as we got diverted and this little crisis started happening and, like everybody had their own way of reacting to the issue, right? There was one woman, I think she was French. I got the vibe she was French. She had that sort of careless but incredibly well put together sort of French thing going on, and a little accent. I think she was French. And she just right away, as soon as they were like, okay, we're going to sit on the ground for half an hour, we're going to see if we can get to Santa Barbara, we're not sure, blah, 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 blah. We're waiting for the flight deck, something. She was like, I'm out. She grabbed her bag, she was like, I'm out. And this flight attendant was like, okay, but if you get off this plane, like American Airlines is done with you, like we're not going to be able to help you or reimburse you for anything. She's like, I don't care, I'm out. So she left. What else? There was the guy next to me. So the guy I ended up sharing the Uber with, it turns out he was a private pilot. He flies small planes. So immediately he went into like research mode. He's like on his phone, like, oh yes, the ceiling of the cloud cover. Oh, he must have 4,000 pounds of gas and the law is, right? So he went into like pilot research guy mode. And I found out later he was an engineer. So I'm like, that makes total sense. there was a couple behind me where they clearly had like a real damsel hero dynamic in their marriage or relationship, because she just kept going like, well, I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Why can't we get to Santa Barbara? I mean, we're supposed to go to Santa Barbara. The plane said it was going to Santa Barbara. Why aren't we in Santa Barbara? I just don't understand. And the guy was like, I'll take care of it, honey. And he sort of would go up and talk to the flight attendant and be like, well, no, I'm just need to clarify, like, are we getting to Santa Barbara? And she's like, I don't know. Well, but I think it's important. You know, my wife is very upset and I think we, right? So that was their thing. There was the captain who was Mr. like jolly everybody along, like, okay, folks, he's like, well, we just don't know. So we're just going to have to not know until we know. And then of course there was eye roll lady who was also in sort of the row caddy corner from me. And she just went, these airplanes are the worst. Oh, these airlines are the worst. Oh, I can't believe this is happening to me. Oh, she wasn't being like mean. Well, she was being a little mean about it, but more, it was just like, right. She was just exasperated, sort of teenage eye roll thing. And then of course there was tantrum guy, who also was like, I'm out of here and I'm gonna have to speak to a manager and I don't care and I'm gonna get reimbursed and I need this and I need that. And the flight attendant was like, do what you want to do, dude. And I just thought it was really interesting to like have this moment to watch how everybody's, when things go south, how do you handle it? What do you do when things aren't going your way? What do you do when you have a plan and you get diverted to Ontario? What do you do? How do you cope? How do you handle it? Do you get into like doing mode? Like, well, okay, let's just fix it. Do you get into blaming, like whose fault was this and how can we figure this out? And let's have a serious talk about being better in the future. Do you get, what's your way? What's your way? And the reason I'm asking, so we're going to do our 15 minutes of work here. This is what we do here now, is we do our 15 minutes of work together, and we're going to do that. But what I want to invite you into, Shirley says flying just isn't fun anymore. I'm not convinced it actually ever was all that fun, but yes, it's tough for sure. Veronica says, I'm teenage eye roll lady, for sure. Sue says, yep, on the eye roll. Shirley says, wait, see what happens. What can I or cannot control? Gaynell says, pull up my book, watch them and listen while reading. That's exactly what I did, Gaynell. That's exactly what I did. I was like, open up the Kindle and just lay, yeah, you did that check of like, is this actually a problem? I'm like, this is not actually a problem. I mean, we're inside. Well, I'm not cold. We're inside. I have a bag of almonds. Like, we'll get there eventually. So, it wasn't a crisis in that moment. Clerk says buy snacks and know where the bathrooms are. Yep, exactly. June says I go to Ontario, right? Exactly. So, but what I wanted to invite you, so I think this is like, an interesting inquiry for yourself to like notice, where are you when you get frustrated? My friend Allison Bird was speaking in a Tony Robbins event the other day, and she invited me into the Zoom to be there and support her and cheer her on, and it was amazing. She was amazing, hundreds and hundreds of people on this Zoom, and she's just blowing everyone's mind. And I was so pleased because a lot of what she was talking about, the person who was teaching before Allison, they were doing a lot of like visioning work of like, who's this person you want to be and who's this person you're going into, and what is that confident person doing and what words does that confident person use, and how are they making powerful decisions, or are they making small decisions, or are they making big, and I was like, okay, that's all very useful, but it's kind of easy to be confident and make big decisions in this sort of abstract, right? Where it gets hard is where the rubber meets the road, is when you get diverted to Ontario. And that's exactly what Allison was talking about. Allison was like, I want to talk to you about the spiritual lesson of the kitchen sink. She's like, because here we all are going like, I'm confident, I'm making big decisions. She's like, and then you get to the kitchen sink. And even though you have asked your family very politely to not leave dishes in the sink, there they are. And who do you choose to be in that moment, right? When the person who is driving gets lost, even though you already told them the way they should go. Who are you in that moment? And that this is where true spiritual development happens, is at the kitchen sink and in the passenger seat and in the bedroom and in the supermarket. And as we all know, my favorite place to go for spiritual education, the parking lot at Trader Joe's. So I think it's a great inquiry, right? Who are you? What happens? What are your habits? We've been talking a lot about habits. What are your habits when things go sideways? And what I want to invite you into as we go into our 15 minutes of productive work, or productive rest, or productive play, or productive whatever you're going to do. What who do you want to be? Do you want to adopt a slightly different persona for this? Like, you may be a naturally sentimental person who's decided to do some clutter clearing. You may have to call on your auctioneer personality, who's like, nope, that goes, nope, that goes, nope, that has no value, it goes, this stays, this goes. You might have to call up some very decisive version of yourself. You might have to call, you might be feeling like, oh, I want to reach out to that former client, but I don't know if they want to hear from me. You might have to call up your diva self and be like, oh, they are going to be so happy to hear from me. I'm going to be the best thing that happens to them all day long. I'm putting on my red lipstick and I'm dialing that phone. I'm sending that email. Beyonce very famously developed a alter ego called Sasha Fierce back in the, I don't know, 2008 or so, because Beyonce herself is, first of all, an actual person. And I think also rather shy. I think she's kind of a soft-spoken person, kind of a timid person. But she knew that her performing needed a different persona. So she developed this Sasha Fierce, who was much more sexual, much more outspoken, much more fierce. I think she sort of dropped that now, but I love that stage in her development to be able to say, me personally, I don't really want to walk around wearing, 2 diamonds on my nipples and nothing else, but the world requires this of me. The world requires a certain level of awesomeness, and no one is more awesome than Beyonce. No one. So that's what I invite you into. What additional personality will you call up in order to make this 15 minutes of work time, play time, rest time, whatever you're going to spend 15 minutes, it's probably actually more like 12 minutes, working on whatever matters to you. Whatever matters to you. That's what I want you to do. Don't do the thing you think you should do. Don't do the thing that you're like, do the thing that 12 minutes from now, you'll be like, that was pretty good. Okay. All right. Any questions? How are we doing? Yeah, the stash of almonds. Yep. Right. We didn't crash. Exactly. Good. Yeah, you guys are great. This is so true. So are we ready? Everybody have something that you can read your book for 12 minutes. You can draw, doodle, dance, sing, clear clutter, make phone calls. But again, nothing that you would normally do, right? This is time for you to work on something that's important to you. All right. Everybody good? All right, I'm going to start our countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get to work. Get to joyful work. Where's my timer? There we go, everybody. That was a little less than 15 minutes. Because I talked for too long at the beginning. But I hope you got some exciting things done, had some good insights. I like Gaynell was suggesting that maybe I could count the other way, that the cards reversed count, so we would count up. And Veronica said, Gaynell, urgency is good for the soul, which I might have to make into a mug. And Joe's adopted the identity of Super and Joe, beloved public figure. I love that for you. Super and Joe, confident, wise, and unshakable. Yes. Clark points out that it's Mad Hatter Day, 10/6. Speaking of Veronica, you guys are going to get an email from me. Are you on my email list? If you are not on my email list, go over to therealsambennett.com and get on the email list, because that's how everything happens around here. And you're going to get an email this weekend. Veronica, as you know, is not just an artist, not just an amazing teacher, but also a technical genius. So, and she's opened up a couple of slots on her calendar. So if you need a little tech consult, like, I don't know what to do about how to build my email list, I don't know what to do about my website, I don't know how to set up my Etsy shop, I don't know how to whatever, she's your girl. So keep an eye on your inbox for that, because she's made you an incredible offer. And she can really help you tidy up your life and get you getting more of what you want, and not get hung up on the tech stuff, right? Because I know that stops a lot of us in our tracks, right? So she can really help you out with that. Good. Any insights or anything anybody wants to share from our little work time here, our little playtime? No, Julie, you haven't missed anything. I haven't sent it yet, so it'll be coming this weekend. I just wanted to give you a little notification. Veronica says, bless you, looking forward to jamming with some folks. Yeah. The other Julie reminded me too that she often, when she gets diverted to Ontario, uses the phrase plot twist. Plot twist. And my favorite, nothing bad is happening. Nothing bad is happening. Susanna says, I love this and needed it. I haven't been to one of these in so long, and it was a great reset. I also wrote in my journal, I fucking love Sam Bennett. Thank you. Thank you, Susanna. I fucking love you right back. Thanks, babe. All right. Anything else anybody wants to say or share? And good for you all for taking the time and plugging into yourself. Edith says, I finished an email to a friend, which I started 2 Thursdays ago. Great. Right? Pick up the speed. That's good. Sue says, I ordered the dog's iMed stuff first so I could think about my stuff and then pick t-shirts for the shop project, etc. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. And I'm not saying don't do the stuff on your to-do list. I'm going to take the hands off an old clock. That sounds like fun. Especially when you just need to that's one of the things David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done, wrote. He's like, if you've got something on your to-do list that's going to take you less than 2 minutes to do, just do it. Just don't even write it down, just do the thing. Clark says, I finally made myself a Shopify account to make myself start selling stuff, making stuff to sell. That's amazing. Good for you. Justine says, fascinating, my first 15 minutes. Justine, welcome to the party. See if you can do it every day. Just see what happens, right? Took some time out to test out some easy tasks towards being able to upload my old flute album. Made progress on 2 of them. I used time to shop for books just for myself, not work, from a list I've had sitting on my desk for literally months. Excellent. So good. Doesn't it feel so good? I feel good just hearing how good you guys feel. So created invitations on Vistaprint to celebrate National Love Your Red Hair Day on November 5th. Phyllis, that's amazing. Love Your Red Hair Day. Who knew there was such a thing? Great. Veronica says, drew California's state dinosaur for a new t-shirt design. I could not love that more. Oh my gosh. So good, so good. So I hope we're encouraging you to hopscotch past your perfectionism, past your delay, past your self-doubt, past your habits, right? And use journaling to organize my brain about the rest of my day, and remember that truly nothing bad is happening. You're just in Ontario. It's okay. You'll get to Santa Barbara eventually. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for taking this time to be with me. Veronica, as always, you're my hero. And let's take one more breath, shall we? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. Also, if you want to sign up for the Get It Done workshop, it's not too late. You can still enroll today. We've got our second session tonight, so you could still jump in and get caught up pretty quick. So see you there. Bye, everybody. Have a great day, wherever you are.